All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday evening. I know you all, as much as I am, are looking forward to this great workshop. So today we do have Aloysius Okafor, who will be discussing the topic of how immigrant families can navigate the school system. So without further ado, I will just briefly introduce who Aloysius is. So he is someone who has immigrated to Canada back in 2016 with his family. He has been a teacher with the Peel District School Board for over 12 years. And he is currently works for the Vice President of the Peel Elementary Vocational Teachers, as well as representing over 3,000 teachers on the board. So without further ado, let us introduce Aloysius. Aloysius, I will share, I will make you the host so you'll be able to share if you have any presentations.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Let me try to share my screen. Awesome. So once again, good evening, everyone. My name is Aloysius Okafor. As I guess Nicole has introduced. And yes, I am a teacher with Peel District School Board, and I want to say thank you to Pastor Francis and YNOT team for the opportunity to speak on this platform. I have known Pastor Francis and his lovely family for many years. They are amazing people to know and to work with. Again, thank you for the wonderful work that you're doing, you and your team. We appreciate you. Yes, I've been with Peel District School Board as a teacher for over 10 years. At the moment, I don't have a traditional classroom because I work presently as the first vice president of Peel Elementary Vocational Teachers Union. I speak on behalf of teachers, negotiate with the government on behalf of the teachers, and try my best to support the teachers when they have issues with their administrators, when they have issues with students, and when they have issues with parents. And of course, those issues come very often. Well, I am married. I'm blessed with 3 children. One is a second-year student of University of Windsor, and another is a grade 12 student of Thomas Fenton IB program, International Baccalaureate program. And the third one is a grade 7 student of Fletcher Creek Middle School in Brampton. I also pastor a church, a Destiny International Christian Assembly. And the branch of this church here is called Overcomers Voice of Victory. So as you may see, my family and I have tried and still trying to navigate the school system of Canada as immigrants in this country. So some of the things that I will be sharing are lived experiences, how my family and I are navigating the school system. And I hope that you walk away with some helpful insights. Yeah. So one of the things that I found here when we came to Canada in 2006 is a very interesting thing on their plate number. It says Ontario, yours to discover. Ontario, yours to discover. When I saw this, I began to think, oh, really? It is my responsibility to discover Ontario. And of course, there must be something to discover in this province. And that sparked my curiosity. And I began to make some searches and searches beyond the normal limbs and the bounds. Well, I was able to find a number of things. And if you don't know, really, there are things to discover in Ontario. It is yours to discover. And it's not something that maybe people may do for you. And once you take the ownership, you'll be able to find something as you begin to dig. Well, this how immigrant families can navigate the school system is one of the things that one can try to discover in this country, in this province. And it is a very huge topic, a very, very huge topic. It's not something that we can finish in one session or two sessions, but I am very hopeful that you will walk out with something very helpful in each session. Well, some key words that I'd like us to look at as we journey together. One is a newcomer. Newcomer. Remember, our topic is how immigrant families can navigate this the school system. Newcomer. Who is considered a newcomer? A newcomer is a person with typical first-year settlement needs. A person with typical first-year settlement needs. And besides this, today in this presentation, I will try to lay the foundation in a number of ways, and hopefully give you enough time to ask questions, so that because it's a very big topic covering a huge area, I would like to know areas that you would like to discover, explore, navigate in this in the school system, wherever you are. Though the principles are basically the same, but there could be slight changes from board to board, but the principles are quite the same. So a newcomer is a person with typical first-year settlement needs. And generally speaking, it means someone who is new to the country or to a place. Now, but it can also refer to an individual who has the needs that are typical of someone who has recently arrived a country or a place or an establishment. Someone who has needs that are typical of someone who has recently arrived. And this is important for us to consider, because when we're talking of immigrants, families. Some people arrived newly, maybe some months ago. They are newcomers into the system. Some people arrived 5 years ago, but with needs, like somebody who arrived last month or last week. Some immigrants are here as newcomers, even though they have spent 10 years or even 20 years in the system. Why? Because they have needs that are typical of one who has just arrived. So all of these are brought together and summed up as the newcomer. Another word that I'd like us to consider as we journey along together is the word navigate. Navigate. And simply put, it means to get around. To get around. Now, the school system is huge. Is huge. How can this person who has arrived or who has needs as someone who just arrived get around a complex system like the school system? The other word that, or words or phrase that we can consider is school system. School system. And I call it an organized framework or method. I search that up again and it says it's a set of principles or procedures according to which something is done. A set of principles or procedures according to which something is done. I found this image and I said, well, that would be helpful for our discussion this evening. The school system. The public system is an example of a school system. There is also the private school system. All of this work on the same principles. So because it is an organized framework, you find that in the school system, you have a number of things: teaching, school design, leadership, school support, funding, partnership, standards, and instructions, and more. All these are huge arms or departments or components of the school system that make up the framework. And then we look at these closely. Let's look at the first one, teaching, for instance. Teaching as part of the component of the school system. Parents have one of the things that people see in teaching is the fact that, well, there's a teacher. As a parent, as a family, we could have parent-teacher interview. Yes. So this is one of the ways that parents can navigate into the school system, parent-teacher interview. Yes. You find that you also can have the opportunity to get clarifications on the instructional topics and materials that are being given to your child. So teaching is a huge component of the school system, but many people think that it stops only with teaching. It goes beyond teaching. Many parents, like me, have had several teacher-parent interviews, and they will find out how is my child doing. If the teacher has concerns, will tell you, well, the child is doing well, but in this area, in that area, it needs help, and so on and so forth. And you can also, many children come back to the parents with, oh, daddy, mommy, this is what we learned today. What does that mean? Did your teacher say this? It doesn't quite make sense. Or the child, in the best of your opinion, should not be learning something like that. You have the right to go to the teacher, ask one to meet with the teacher and get clarifications on instructional topics and materials that are being taught to your child. Right. The next thing that we may look at is partners. And this is a huge component of the school system. And this could include individuals, parent groups, community organizations. How can these partner with the school in order to make the school run very well? Life is all about partnership. And this is one of the ways that you can access the school system. As an individual, we'll be talking about this in a deeper context moving forward. Now, parent groups, community organizations, all these are ways that you can navigate through the school system. The next one is leadership. Leadership. And how can you navigate the school system through leadership? As an individual, as a community, as parent group. One of the ways as a parent group is to get involved in the school, in your child's school council meeting. And many of us don't know that we can actually become a school council member. So it depends on how you would want to navigate the school system. As an individual, personally, I ask myself that question: how can I navigate the school system? And did some findings, some researches, and took the necessary steps and got in as a classroom teacher. From the classroom, I began to ask myself, there is even more to the school system than just being in the classroom. How can I make it even better? And I began that navigation and found myself in leadership. And that's how I've moved from the traditional classroom into leading teachers, thousands of teachers, and become one of the leaders of 98,000 teachers in Ontario. These are levels. So from wherever you are, it's possible to navigate the school system. We'll be talking deeper and deeper on this in the next sessions. Another way that you can navigate through the school system is to know the curriculum plan for your child or your children. There are standards and instructions. So you can become part of the discussion. In fact, the teacher is supposed to carry you along as a parent in developing the curriculum or explaining to you what the curriculum that has been planned for your child or for your children's education, what they are. And sometimes your input will be needed in that. Your ideas can give ideas to that. And that will be accepted because they are teaching your child or your children. You have that right. You have the right to be carried along. Well, the next will be school support. School support. I know that YNOT does a lot of good job in supporting school, in the sense that there are different ways that you can support the school, like YNOT is doing. One of the major things that happen in the school is teaching and learning, teaching and learning. And sometimes the teachers go about it and it's like not really sitting well. Why not do after school? Why not get those students together, some of those students together, and begin to support their learning, begin to support their learning, you know, solve some issues with them, do some work with them, explain further for them. The parent can do this also. The parent group can do this. You can do this as a community member, even though you don't have a child in the school. You can do this as a community group, school support. So there are several ways, and this is one of the super ways of navigating the school system. In fact, that's one of the ways that I got into the system. Volunteered. I volunteered free of charge in a school. And while I was teaching there, doing volunteer work, I saw opportunities, adverts, and I applied for it and got in. So you can navigate the system through by actually speaking to the administration, the principal of whoever, and say, hey, how can I support your school? How can I support what's going on? Administrators love to hear that. They love to hear that. And to go with the students on trips outside the school, some parents, and they know that they can count on you to go with the students on trips. You may want to volunteer on extracurricular activities, after school programs, basketball, if you know how, soccer, if you know how, or just and be sure that nobody is hurt. That means a lot to the school. You are a school support, parent group, community member, or community group. Sometimes there are those, let's take for example, the Black History Month. And you know of a Black History, a program that can help to showcase, highlight the Black history. And you bring it, speak to that man, hey, I have this to present to the students to help the Black History Month, to help them get more understanding of the Black history. That's a super way to to navigate the school system, safety crossing guard, and so on and so forth. There are so many of them. We'll be talking of this in deeper levels moving forward. Another way that you can help to navigate the school system is by fund school fundraising initiatives, that you can come up with. Schools are continually in need of finances. And if they know you as a fundraiser, you are held up at the top. Well, there are a good number of others, but like I said, these are laying the foundation. So it depends on how you would want to navigate the school system. Would you want to do that as individuals, as family or parents, as students, as blacks? How would you want to do that? If you want to do it as an individual, like I started, Ontario is yours to discover. We can guide you. You know, we can help and get you started. This is not the first time that we're doing this for people. But the thing is, see a world of possibilities around you. The reality is we are here as a home, not as foreigners. As I was preparing this, what I have in the future, we see even where they have this, the system is such that there are provisions for people that are landed, people that are immigrants, people that are refugees who don't even have paper at all, people who are who don't have the language power that is in the country. There is provision for them, and they can be taken care of and be brought right into the system to be part of the system as if this is originally their home. But many of us don't know many of these things. And I don't blame anybody. If you don't know a thing, you don't know it. We can navigate through this system very well, but we have to know what to do, where to knock on the doors, and how to do that. Yes. So I would like to ask, is there any question at this moment? First, so that I can address. Any questions?
Yes, hello.
Yes,
Can I be heard?
I hear you.
Okay, Professor, I'm glad for the presentation. Thank you very much for bringing your expertise to share with us. By the way, my name is Paul Oha, and I listened to this presentation. I am so much enriched because in my country, they said the knowledge is like a forest. You cannot exhaust it. And that's why I think we continue to learn until we are gone. So thank you. I learned that volunteerism is a process, or it helps, even though we might think it's a waste of time and waste of resources working without pay. Become challenging, but from what you said, it helped you to get into the system. But I understand at the time you were working and you had income. So my question is, would you suggest to somebody who probably has no job to engage in volunteer services? And if that is okay, can that person be discouraged because he still have to pay his bill? So I don't know, because I think some people may have interest to do that because they're looking at the future, but at the same time, the immediate need could be pulling them out. What can you say to them?
Thank you very much for that question. To be honest with you, when I volunteered in the school, I had no job. I had no job. At first, I was working in a warehouse, driving forklifts and interacting with boxes, you know, and it didn't work well with me. I knew I could do something better. I knew I could do something better. So at some point, I had to quit that job and focused on pursuing, this is where I want to get into. And what can I do to get into it? I can understand there is the need for provision. You have to pay the bills, you have to take care of the family or meet your basic needs. So one of the things that I would suggest is, because those needs are there and nobody can do them for you, I was able to give time into that full volunteering because my wife was working. So we cannot close our eyes to the needs. So part of what you can do, if that is what you are considering, is pick up the job, find a job. It doesn't matter how low it is. Get something to do. Like I said, I started with the warehouse. I was carrying boxes in a love lots in those days, But I thank God things have changed. Get something to do. Find a school that you like to volunteer that is not too far from where you live or where you can access. And agree with them, maybe 1 day or 2 days in a week. Sometimes it doesn't need the whole 8 hours in the school. What may be needed might be 2 hours, even 1 hour, right? And for that day, if you are able to come to agreement with your place of work, where you have that work that this is not where I belong. This is not what I have to do, but I can manage it for now while I pursue where I belong. So take a day or 2 off from there, go and pursue the volunteerism, and get back to this one later on. Does that help? Hello, Paul?
Yes. I thank you very much. This point of get something, even if it's not exactly what you are looking for, but it's gonna bring something in. And then, in fact, you throw in great ideas there. That is throwing great ideas there. That is very, very helpful because sometimes one could be thinking at a particular thing in a very wide scope and get discouraged when in fact you could take it a little bit by bit and get into the system. I think the point or the main challenge is get into it, and once you get into it, now you continue to learn. Yeah, so thank you very much. I guess you have impacted my idea. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Any other question?
as well for anyone that wants to ask any questions. You can also put them in the chat box as well.
Okay, so if you have a question, please feel free to let me know at any point. And I like to talk on one of the things that I am doing, I have done, and I'm still doing it, which is helping many people at this point in the school system. Like I said before, I don't know how you want to navigate the school system. Do you want to navigate as I did, as an individual, or as a family, or as a community group? What is your major objective? What are you pursuing? What are you pursuing? One of the things that really helps in the navigation of this system and many systems is mentorship. Mentorship. Before I left I moved out from the traditional classroom into leadership. A principal, an administrator, I connected with that principal, and the person began to mentor me. And mentored me on how I could navigate the system, even though I was already teaching. So you see, that's why I said this is huge. It's very huge. Now, what the principal did, the resources that she gave me, things she exposed me to were so enormous. And I called her. It happened at a time that I was about to transition into leadership, leading the teachers. And I saw that as an opportunity. I said, hey, can I get a few teachers who will learn what you are teaching me so that we can learn together? She said, yes, Aloysius, you can do that. You can do that. I'll be happy to. And she said, I can also get my vice principal to help. That was great for me. So I spoke to a few friends. I said, I found something that can be helpful to you. Mentorship. And they agreed. About 6 of them. I started this mentorship program with them as teachers. And this principal mentored all of us for that first year with her advice. The next year, wow, more people joined. And I was able to get more principals. I think I got about 3 more principals to join this. And we were about 18 the next year. Well, and that became one of my campaign tools when I ran for the election as the vice president. You know, because people saw that it was working. It worked. And they said, well, if I was able to pull this through, they would vote me in. Well, what happened was that mentorship grew. Today, I have more than 500 teachers that have passed through that mentorship. And as I'm speaking with you now, I have 16 principals that are mentoring these teachers. And I'm leading all of them. Now, why do I mention this? These teachers were being mentored by administrators who would interview them and hire them, right? Administrators who would interview them and hire them. And before you are hired into permanent position, you need to have a reference. Principals or administrators that will give you good reference. Principals and administrators that would vouch for you and stand for you. Wow. So everyone that was in this mentorship knew, because I assigned the mentees to each mentor, formed groups of them. So they connected with their mentors, and these mentors, even though they were the people that would be hiring these teachers, were like, what can I do to get you a permanent job? I have to do everything possible to make my mentees to succeed. They began to navigate through and get into higher positions in the board and permanent jobs. Now, this mentorship program is one of the best sought in Peel District School boards today. It is grown to such an extent that the school board came to me and said, we've heard of what you're doing. What can we do to support you? And they've been bringing resources and many things to support the mentorship. Now, that's another form of navigation. Now, if one of the things that I know immigrants need in this society, in this place we are, is mentorship. Mentorship. Mentorship of parents who are battling with children, some of them born into this, in this place, or some that were brought into this place and have embraced the cultures, the things they found in this place. And it's like, how can I deal with my child with this situation? How can I handle this? And of course, some of these parents, the children are stronger, more powerful than them in this society, and they need help. There's mentorship for them, which we can take to the next level. And in that way, we'll be able to navigate, get these students who seem so strong at home, even stronger than parents. In fact, we're in a system where children are the first, maybe before pets, you know, and women, of course, and children, if you do anything to a child, and the children know this. So many parents, especially immigrant parents, families, are powerless in this place, and they need mentorship. This is something that we can take to the next level and empower these parents and help them take the burdens off and put it where it belongs. The same mentorship will also, there's the level of it for those students from these immigrant families who have come here and the bright lights have shined and are like, wow, is this life, is this freedom? There's a level of that will also help to reposition them well. I thank God for what YNOT is doing, and I know that we can get better and better. Okay, let me not talk too much. Any questions so far before I continue?
Feel free to unmute yourself as well. If you do have questions, don't be shy.
You can put it on the chat, Nicole. If you look at the chat, let me know if there's something we need to deal with there.
I have a question here, Pastor. My name is Francis. So I'm asking, my question here is directly to one of the case load we have. And this is a guy that goes to school every morning. The mom drops him at the front of the school. The mom will watch him enter the school, and then he will just immediately leave from the backyard door. So the school will call mom that, yeah, son is not in school today. Then the mom will say, no, I dropped my son there this morning, and he's there. So the same thing continued, and the school keep calling the mom till eventually the mom. So when his result came back, it actually indicated that he's not been attending school. And that's when mom came to the school. And eventually, what the school did was to show the mom the picture of his son coming from the front door and walking out from the back door. And as a result, he has a shade to change immediately. He's walking out there. So in a situation like this, so most of the parents are not really involved with what their kids are doing in the school, and mostly new immigrants' kids. And sometimes when all these issues are addressed, some of us look at it as is a racist and so on and so forth. We have something to say about it. So in a situation like this, what is your advice to parents, especially new immigrant parents that have their children in the school?
Thank you so much. If you remember the part of the slide that I had earlier, one of that is a partner with the school. Now, this is not new. It's something that that has continued to happen in school. But what would the parents do? The first thing that I would say is your student, your child. There's a reason why the mother would drop the child at school and wait until the child goes into the school and goes back, and then she drives off. Let's face the reality. You know your child at home. I tell my children, Joshua at home is not different from Joshua at school. It's not different from Joshua in the basketball pitch. You know your child. If you know that your child has the tendency to go the other way, to wander, or to be disruptive, or not to pay close attention to studies, or have other interests apart from the reason why you have sent that child to school, partner with your child's teacher at school. Don't wait until they begin to bring pictures to you. Call the school, call your teacher, the teacher. Hi, how is John doing? Can I have an interview time with you? the teacher would gladly say yes. Because some of these students are stronger than the teacher in the school. And when they know that they have support from home, when the teachers know they have support from home in addressing the unruly behavior around the child, success is achieved faster. So connect with your child's teacher. Attend parent-teacher interview. Ask questions. How is this child doing? Ask the teacher, how can I help from home front to make my child succeed? How can I help? What are the works that my child needs to do? Is he up to date with his assignment? The teacher will gladly tell you yes or no. That's the first place to start addressing these things. Now, what else can you do? When you find out that this behavior that this child is exhibiting at home is also happening in the school, there are things, in fact, teachers who are trained to work with such students. They are specifically trained to work with such students. In fact, they don't have regular classrooms because there are so many of those students like that. Counselors are there. So once the school knows that the parent is not in denial, oh, my child doesn't do that, that's not my child. There are parents who do say that. They know their child is capable of saying terrible things to anybody. But when it's brought up to them, no, that's not my child. And like Pastor Francis said, you're saying this because I'm Black. It's racism or this. No. Let's face the reality. There is a counseling system that is set there in school at various levels. In fact, apart from that, like in Peel, there is, apart from the in-school counseling session where the students will be helped because they need help, there is also what they call the Peel Alternative Program, where such students who find it difficult to be in class to do their work, they are also sent to that place. And teachers who are prepared for them take care of them, work with them, speak the language that they can hear and understand, and entice them with what they like to hear or see in order to do the work that they need to do. I don't know if this helps.
Yes, Pastor, it does help. It's the key word you brought there is to partner with the student teacher. I think that's the way out. You know, which through the teacher they will get the right information on how the child is doing in school, and they actually the help the child needs in school. And that's one of the reasons we audit this program in order to encourage parents, especially immigrant parents, to go to the school and know how children are doing. Because most of us intends to involve in, 2 jobs, so on and so forth, that seeing the need to be there. I think you did justice to that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, Madam Bridget.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you, Aloysius. I really appreciate your presentation. I like the way you presented it. And I like the idea of partnership. I myself, I hail from the background of the school system. And in this series of workshops, we try, it's a very broad place, and we try to do what we can. On the question of partnering, I'm coming from an insider insight because I've been there, I've been a school counselor, I've been a mentor, I've been a supervisor of counselors in all our Ontario schools. So what I found during my time, mind you, this was in the 90s, okay, was that partnership, there are some parents, especially if they are new, that are terrified of approaching the school system because they come from a background where you know your child's teacher. And if your child does anything at school, didn't show up at school, the teacher deals with them even before you get the news. And so, but here, the system is so aloof and distant. So what I found very useful and encouraging was, along with partnering with the school, because I used to have meetings, because I was one of those people that did not have a specific classroom, but I was a counselor. I was always in the school. So when it gets to a point of no return, they send them to me. So you partner with the principal or vice principal, whoever is in charge of that particular aspect from the administrative point of view. But the parent, because sometimes we're dealing with single parents, either a father or a mother, and sometimes with both parents. It is a good idea, I used to encourage it a lot, for the parent to have a close friend or someone in the community you trust to come to these meetings with you. Because the system will not just condemn your child. The system will now say, okay, there's another person looking in here. It's not just this counselor that is paid that might be on your side, but there's somebody else. And what that did for us was it allowed both the parent and the teacher and the student, the central figure, to sit up and take notice. We used to draw up contracts between the school, the student, and the parent. This and this and this is what you're going to do between this and this and this. And if it's not done, we set up consequences. I heard you say, and rightly so, that some of these students are bigger than the teachers, so to speak, in terms of what they can tell the teacher, etc., etc., and even at home, very intransigent. But when the student knows that the community that is surrounding him, at least from his family point of view, are really out there for their own good, you know, you look for the best in the child. Your child must have something in that child that sparks. Look for that, praise that, and come from the inside, not from the point of criticism all the time. Yeah, he's behaving nasty, but you kind of tell him that he is capable of doing more. And so I found that kind of partnership works, so that if you're not terribly confident as a parent to approach the system and all of that, but at least you have somebody else, even if the person never says a word in the meeting, but is another community member, somebody that has your back, that comes in. And that also helps the teacher, because you've got to explain to your child that both yourself, the teacher, and the school are there to help him for his own good. Never mind whether that's racism. For me, what I advise parents is your child is going there to learn. The racism could be there, but don't forget, don't let your child forget for one moment that they're not going there for the teacher to like them. But if the teacher likes them, that's great. But they're going there to listen to what the teacher had to say. The teacher has knowledge, and what they need is for the teacher to impart that knowledge into them. And that is what they need for their future. So, you know, this is where I'm looking at, and in your presentation, it is great. But we have to look at the fact that the parents need support, not just from the school, from the teacher, but also from the community. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Madam Bridget. Thank you so much. And
Yeah.
you are right. You are right. And that is why I keyed in on mentorship. Mentorship is empowering.
Mhm.
Mentorship is empowering. Now, truly speaking, there are many parents from the immigrant groups that are scared to go to school and speak to that man. They don't know what to say. They don't know what to do, especially with the mixed messages that the children bring back home. So they think that the school is maybe a kind of a distant place to go, enemy, or a place that cannot, that is unapproachable. But mentorship does such amazing, empowering work that destabilizes this. Information is power. What you need as a mentee is information. And once you get it, and that's what I did with the mentorship program that I have with those teachers. The occasional teachers felt that they were not like the regular teachers. In fact, they were kind of put down, you know, despised. So when they go to school, they try to stay on their own in their different classrooms. During lunch, many of them wouldn't go to the staff room because they were like, maybe I can use the word discriminated or felt distanced. Now, when I got the mentorship program going on, and then got the administrators to mentor these people, the administrators began to change their mindset about who they are when they step into the school as occasional teachers, how much they are needed, how much their input is needed, and how they can boldly move from where they are into contract positions. That made it a big difference. So if our immigrant parents are able to get this kind of mentorship, if you want, I can help in this, and they will begin to learn that, yes, I am in this country, not now as a foreigner, but this is my home. This is my home, and these are my rights. Madam Bridget, you talked about when you were a counselor in schools, right? But I like to say, even now, once you pick up a phone and call the principal of your child and say, hey, principal, my child came back home today sad. Just listen to me. My child came back today sad because the teacher, he said, the teacher shouted at him. Parent has complained. The next thing is what the administrator would say, hey, Okay, I'll look into this place. I'll look into this. I'll look. The next, that teacher is, someone is called. There is an allegation against you. And that's where they called me in. Aloysius, there is an allegation against your member, a teacher. You need to come. And I go to that meeting. What is it? A parent called that this, your teacher, shouted at a student. Just shouted, and I mean it. He shouted at a student. So parents are powerful in the school system now, but many immigrant families don't know it.
Exactly.
They don't know it. So if we know that, yes, we can partner with the school, that's why when you show up as a parent to partner with the school, wow, the school is happy. The admin is happy. That is, you've got it. And it changes the psychology for your child in that place.
Mm-hmm.
It changes the psychology for your child in that place. You know, yes, if we can take this up and begin to teach our immigrant families, mentor them, this is what you need to do as far as the school system is concerned. For instance, this is your right. Many of us don't know our rights. This is how you can navigate this. This is how you can help your child. This is even how you can talk to this child at home. And the child will say, oh, you know, at one time that Pastor Francis came to my house, I showed him at his family where I tied a headband on my head. You know, that type of a headband that those bad boys tie outside there. You know, I tied it. I showed them the picture. And Pastor Francis said, well, what is this? I said, yeah, that's me. His wife said, why did you do this? I said, well, at one point, I saw my boys were tying this on their head. Tying it, I said, wow. And I knew it was something I needed to address. Daddy, everybody does it, you know, it's okay. So what's wrong with this? I said, okay. So one day, while they were out, I knew the time they would be coming back. I tied the thing. I took it's their own. I tied it on my head and such like a bad guy somewhere where they would see me. They opened the door. What is this? What is this? I said, oh, what is this? I said, yeah. Hey, man. Hi, yo. What's up? And they laughed and laughed. I said, oh, Daddy, no, take it off. I said, well, really? I should take it off? So how do I look at this? That's how you look when you tie it. And that was the end of it. That solved that problem. So there are ways that we can relate with them. This is not the place that we started from. The culture here is different from where we came from. Where we came from, you turn your back and your buttocks and they give you 12 lashes. And your parents will be very happy that they gave you 12 lashes. It's not the same here. It's not the same here. Here, just, hey, John, he shouted at my name. Shouted at me. In fact, a student can begin to cry. You're not talking to him because you raise your voice, and that child will be crying and crying and crying. So it's a different culture altogether. So our immigrant families need mentorship.
Yeah.
Okay, any other question?
Pastor, thank you very much. Madam Bridget, thank you so much. I know that this is a very important topic and so big to address, because it doesn't matter the way you are looking at it, you see issues there. Then the area, this question comes to you, because to a certain level, the school system, the teachers instigate against their parents. And then sometimes telling them a couple of things that brings culture of clash at home. And then I know one of the kids in my program that came home and picked phone and called 911. And then the police picked it, it dropped, and police eventually came to the house. And then both parents didn't know that their son called 911. And so, but they tricked because it's a home phone to come to their house. So now the police said to the parents that if this happened again, because they asked who called 911, the parents said they didn't know. The son agreed that he called, and that's what they were taught in the school to, call 911. And then the police said to the parents, if this happened, they will be charged because it took them time and whatever to come there. But this is what they are taught at home. They are practicing at taught at school. They are practicing at home. So the system to a certain level is set up to remove our children their rights without responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And those rights without responsibilities is the problem. That of them is willing. It's one of the issues that we are dealing with in our after school program, where a child said, I will call police to the parents. So this is not, how do you address this issue? It's not just calling the police. There are so many other things. They are telling their children or your parents are not working, they're on social welfare, that the money you're using is government money, and in the process undermining the authority of parents at home. Exactly. And where you are home, they become accidental mothers, accidental fathers, and then they don't listen to anybody. And this is a well orchestrated plan to dehumanize immigrant parents at home. And then, so how do we address this issue? Because most of these things we are saying has a root cause. Because parents the system take parents' authority from them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you very much, Pastor. That's a very good question.
Yeah.
And a big one. It's a big one. Yes, I agree with you. It is actually, am I going to use the word a law? I think, let me use the word under commitment for every teacher to call CAS, Child as Society, if they observe things they think are abusive in the life of a child. Maybe a child comes to school now and has bruises. So as a teacher, you must find out from that child, why do you have bruises? Did you fall? And if the child opened the mouth and said, my dad slapped me or whipped me, before you can talk to your admin, your principal. But now they changed it that you don't even need to talk to your principal. You call CAS directly. And that is big, that is huge. That is so. What do we do in such situations? What do we do in such situations? Now, a number of things. It is not only the school that gives out such information to take rights away from parents or teaches the students what to do or what to say. Students also teach themselves. Really, students also teach themselves. You know,
when you get a chance, can I come in too?
yes, students also teach themselves. Now, there are, if you Google how to fire a teacher, for instance, you see what students have posted in Google, teaching other students how they can fire a teacher. I walked into a classroom many years ago and they wrote on the board, grade 8 class. Very early in the morning, we have already fired 5 supply teachers that came to this class. And I went in there that day as a supply teacher. I said, whoa, God, is today going to be my last day? You know? So it's that's the system. That's the system. So what do we do? What do we do? One, the home front has to be strong. The home front has to be strong. A good foundation from home makes a big difference. The child knows where he's coming from. We all have children. I have. Talk to them. Hello. You know, this, what we do at home, stays at home. And Pastor Francis, to your point, parents are not powerful enough to stop many of this. Their rights are taken away from them. And I'm, as a person of faith, one of the things that I do, I ask God for help. I ask God for help, seriously. Help me, Lord. I pray for the children and then speak to the children, tell them our family value, tell them what we value as individuals and the potential things that they can hear from outside. Whether it's coming from the teachers, there are teachers out there who tell students what you would not like to hear at all. Yes. So the reality is all these and more are real. And we have to grapple with them. We have to fight to possess our own.
Yeah.
A strong hope.
Yeah.
A strong hope is necessary.
And
yes, go ahead.
Yeah. And one other thing is when we teach family values, whether you're a single parent or a family, a full-fledged family of mother, father, and the children, we need to do our research or get to the community partners or community members, find out about all the systems. One of those systems is the Children's Aid Society. I was a foster parent for 11 years, among other things. So I know how that system works. So you need to, before your children begin school even, or as they try to navigate the system, you got to tell them that, you know, if something happens, that they take it to school, they can discuss, but if they take it to school and the school calls Children's Aid Society, you tell them as it is. This is what will happen. They will take you from here They bounce you from home to home. You may not go to the same school. Give them all the things. While the Children's Aid Society might rescue them for this temporary upset at home, their life is going to be on the bed. Children need to know that. So if you want to go to Children's Aid Society, then that's what you want to do. Because when you go there, it's not just the foster parent or the foster home, it's the other foster kids in the system.
Yeah.
That will also bring their own manners and characteristics and habits. Will be a child who goes to church every Sunday and prays and worships with the parents. All of a sudden, they're not going to church. They're going to smoke. So a lot of this information needs to be, I think, in the thing you talked about mentoring, that is great. Perhaps that's where some of this will come out, whether it's private mentoring or public mentoring.
Yeah.
Now, not everybody is at the level where they can be mentored and they become school teachers or become school counselors, but they can be mentored to become empowered parents.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are it's a very, very large topic, and it's a very, it puts us, especially Black parents, in a very big and wonderful situation. And this is why we need to work together, whether you call it mentorship or community support.
Yeah.
Like Pastor Francis has a system going there whereby he helps a lot of parents, a lot of kids. Now, if we were to multiply that by how many times, we will have that many stronger parents to deal with their kids, to level with their kids. This is why it's also good to have what you call the parents to establish a communication system with their kid at least once a week.
Yeah.
To find how their life is going, how school is going, how friends are going, and so on and so forth. And I've raised my kids here, and I'm raising grandkids. My kids are raising grandkids, and they're at this school age, from secondary to primary to kindergartens, so that this whole spectrum of things, we deal with it all the time. And yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with the mentorship thing, but we have to know what level of mentorship we are going to recommend or bring our parents to focus on in order to get control, or at least get empowered and respect at home from kids. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Evelyn? We're not hearing you. Can you try again?
No, unfortunately, we're unable to hear you.
No, we're not hearing you. Okay, while she works on her audio, any other comment, question? Not yet.
Yes. As she tries to, if she joins, she can cut off and come in. So thank you, Pastor, for the answer. I think it's a very, very good and profitable answer. And also, Madam Bridget, thank you so much for your contribution to that answer too. There are, as we all agreed, this is a very complex issue when it has to do with helping our kids here. School is building our skills, and skills involve communication and involves listening skills. And there are a whole lot of things that, looking at the statistics, especially when it has to do with male kids born in this country, it says 75% are social welfare, which is understandable, and that's what it is.
Can you hear me?
Greater part of the reasons they are like skills. They lack communication skills, they lack listening skills, and there are so many other skills they lack. And most of them are coming from how the school is set up. How the school is set up. I was in a program where I was trying to address the issue where when a child come home with the result transferred. So most of the immigrants do not understand what that word transferred means. And in my school system, in my country, is failed. And then you know that you failed a course and you are going to take that course again. Most of the parents do not understand that when it said transferred, it means they have failed. They failed the class, they're supposed to do it again before. A parent, the child graduated, supposed to graduate after grade 12, and then still have over 18 courses transferred, which the father does not understand, nor the mother, what all about. So it still has more than 2 years or a year and to go as an adult student to be graduating from high school. So there's a component of the systemic issues that are very subtle here. And I'm presenting this to Pastor that was right there. There are some underlying subtle systemic issues that meant to, let me use the word, not to support the way it should, for them to do what they're supposed to do. So in addressing most of the issues, so what do we do? Because I've been in school times to that number. I have sat on the table, they bring the speech pathologist, they bring the psychologist, they bring the special education, they bring the principal and the vice principal. The child speaks well. He doesn't need a speech pathologist. He doesn't need a psychologist. And around the table, they speak big grammars where none of these immigrant parents do understand the English they are using and the terminology, of course. And these kids are the parents are set up in the midst of that, not to be able to present the issue at hand. And this is one of the major problems. So you that work in that system right inside, how do you think that this type of systemic issues can be addressed?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is a huge one, and really, I don't think we have the time to do justice to it. But I will say this very quickly. Yes, systemic racism exists. It exists. There is no doubt about that. However, what do? We are not going to stop at the knowledge that it exists. We have to rise above it. We have to refuse to be drawn back. I'll use myself as an example. I'm the first Black person to occupy the position of first vice president in this organization where I am now. But before then, I was told, you're Black. And not only that, when I was campaigning for my, to be voted in, I was told to the face, listen, you might have good ideas, but you have accent. You have an accent, a strong Nigerian accent that because of your accent, forget it, you can't make it. You know, but I refuse to accept what they said. I did my campaign, ran for my election. I was voted in 96% of the vote cast. And today, the person they say has an accent is the one that stands to negotiate with the government on their behalf with the same accent. My color didn't change. My color didn't change. So one is we have to rise up. We have to rise up to take our stand and our ground. I've gone to many schools and they say, because I'm black, I say, hold it. Hold it. Yes, you are black, I'm black. Let's not stay there. Let us not stay there. There are students in the schools that even from home front, they have put this thing into them. You know, you are black, they're racialized against, so, you know, and instead of focusing on who they are and what they need, they continue to hold on there. But now, in the system, to address your question, Pastor Francis, today, we have pushed this issue of racism to an extent, to a wall where they had to bring in people who speak the language that you can understand. They know today that language barrier is an issue for many immigrant families. And they are trying to bring in people who can help them resolve that part of barrier. But many people who don't know, who have been living on the other side of the story of racism, may not know that things are changing. Things are changing, seriously. Yes, they will speak those big grammars and this and that, but it is your right to say, I don't understand. I need an interpreter. And like Madam Bridget said the other time, you're going for that meeting and you think that I might be intimidated in this meeting. Get somebody. Get somebody that can understand them and that can help to speak on your behalf. Today, people, we have a voice. Pastor Francis, I think I was having a discussion with you the other time, and I said, it is the black man's time. It's our chance. Let's use it. I believe that even from programs like this and support that can give, some of us, some of the people that we help can also get into the school system to help to solve the language problems, to help to deal with issues of racism that are there. When you are there physically, there are restraints here and there. Again, it's a huge topic, and we can deal with this when we have more time.
I think my thing is on now. Can I speak?
Yes.
Yeah, like I was saying, appreciating you for that presentation and also for the contribution that Madam Bridget made. So what I'm going to say is just in line with what both of you have said. Like this system where we are, many of us, we are from a different system. Like personally, I am from Nigeria. school system in Nigeria is completely different from what it is here in Canada. So if I am here, I cannot bring what I knew from Nigeria or the way my parents brought me up and use it to bring my children up in this system. It's not going to work. I grew up where you don't argue with your parents, but here in this system, children are taught to speak up their mind, and you cannot discourage them from speaking up their mind. So what am I trying to say here? What I'm trying to say here is that when we come here, it's important for us to get involved with the school system and understand the school system here. When we understand the school system, it will actually help us to train our children in a way that they will be successful in this system. Because if not, we will be they will be speaking a different language, and we will be speaking a different language to them at home, because the system of school will be completely different from what you as parents will be teaching them at home. And then there are some things, because of the system where we are in, things that really are not according to your family values. You sit your child down, you talk to them. Like they will teach them to, if they feel that they are maltreated, they should call 911. Yeah, call your child, okay. There is no parent that loves a child that will want to hurt a child, but you need to discipline your child. And if you discipline your child and your child decides that I want to call 911 for my parents, you let your child know, understand, okay, this is what is in it. I'm not saying don't call 911, but be ready for what is going to happen, because you're going to lose your family. You're not going to see us. You're not going to see your siblings. You're not going to see your parents. You're just going to be hopping from one place to another, not happy. So you let them see the implication of their actions, the impact it's going to have on them themselves. And when they know this, it helps them to take caution and take the right steps. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, everyone. I know the time is now 7:12. It was such a great presentation. First of all, Aloysius, Pastor Aloysius, I really want to thank you for your time today, for being here. I certainly was listening as much as I can, because these are all important topics, just like Madam Bridget has mentioned, Pastor Francis has mentioned, everyone else who spoke. These are all very, very, very important. And I'm so glad that we are here, using this platform as well to speak to people who are relating, right? At the end of the day, we are here to make a difference and share opinions that matter. And, hearing from you as well through your experiences, we really do appreciate your time. And unfortunately, I know it is now 7:13 and the Zoom will unfortunately end very, very soon. So I do want to just thank you and everyone for being here today. We will for sure let you know of upcoming workshops that we have, whether we have Aloysius will be joining us possibly again. I know we'll continue to stay in contact, so we will for sure do that. And then before we go, I do know for those of you who missed this amazing workshop, or if you would like to rewatch it or share it, we will have it posted on our YouTube channel, either on Monday or Tuesday of next week. So keep a lookout for that and you'll be able to see it there. But other than that, again, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And then one more thing before you all go, if you could all kindly put your name and emails in the chat box. We are giving incentives of gift cards. So of course, we would like you to come and get those, especially for those that are still here with us. So please, please, please drop your names and your emails in the chat box so that we can for sure have it recorded and ensure that you get it when you drop by to the office. So please, please, please do that. Hopefully you get it in before the Zoom link ends, but that's enough from me. Again, thank you so much, Pastor Aloysius, for being here with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Bye-bye.